Test, 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 test. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to TrendFX and another video here with our weekly analysis, recapping the trades that we did take this time in the VIP group as we take a closer look at some of the trades that we did take. Whether we're profitable or not, a lot of you still have your opinions and, skepticism about, okay, should I be joining this VIP group or not? Is it really worth it or not? And yeah, I'm here to clear that up right now. So what I'm gonna do is just go over some of the trades that we did take in the VIP group for this week. And I just gotta say, it's been an insane week, just like every other week. But this one has been a little more insane with the amount of moves that we had that just ran like straight into profit. It's definitely been one of my best weeks that I have to date thus far for the starting of the year and my trading career, so to speak. So yeah, we're just gonna recap about some of those trades that we did take. Give you some insight on how I think about the markets, what I see when I do look to enter a trade, and all of that good stuff. All right, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. If you're not already subscribed, then subscribe, hit that notification button as well so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And yeah, and diving straight into it on the charts, okay? So first off, what I like to talk about is CAD CHF buys. All right, this was one of the first trades that we did take after I done my analysis over the weekend for possible trades, that we look to enter for the new week. All right, and as you can see here, I actually do detail out why I'm taking a trade. When possible, sometimes I'll either send a trade immediately and just put the levels, the stop loss levels and such, so that you could enter the trade and then do a full breakdown on the trade itself, right? But this was on the starting of the week, the 16th, right? So you could see this was an analysis done over the weekend, right? CAD CHF buys, two possible positions. I'm looking to enter with 18 and 10 pip stops, respectively, so one after the next. Looking for the overall chart, price action, it is very apparent that we do have an uptrend, right? So it was very clear that we did have an uptrend forming a really strong bullish trend, right? Price recently as well pushed into the resistance daily zone and leveled out, currently consolidating as we entered into lower volumes due to the data rate hike. As we entered lower volumes due to the long weekend. Objectively looking at the fundamentals, we do have a very strong performing Canadian dollar as well as the supporting data of a rate hike, to support and justify the move, right? We're looking for a clear buy to continue with the CAD CHF with its overall direction that we were seeing. So, we're looking to gather some information on whether we can compare the CAD to the CHF, whether one currency is more bullish than the other, right? In this case, the Canadian dollar has been very bullish for quite some time. And just recently, last week, we did have an interest rate hike. I'll try to put that somewhere here. We did have an interest rate hike for the Canadian dollar, which, as you would know, interest rates being risen for any currency is considered an actual, a bullish thing, right? The markets see that, investors see that as something to be very thankful for. It gives the market a bullish sentiment, whatever currency that we are looking at, right? So we did have that piece of evidence supporting this possible move to the upside that we could see, right? And we did have some concerns as well looming over the overall outlook of each economy when it comes to energy cost raising, right? And not just energy costs, but we do also have the possibility of higher food prices and everything else as we continue along again with the Russia-Ukraine situation. Right, so we do have a lot of negative fundamentals also looming over these economies. However, for the Canadian economy, this could be something very bullish for them. As you would know, the Canadian economy does do a lot of exporting of oil, right? And as you know, as gas prices raise, there's a higher demand for the gas, as we no longer receive any export from Russia, which is one of the largest energy producers, right? Now we could probably see a demand for that in replacement from the Canadian economy, right, which would boost their dollar as well, right? So all of this, even though it's very negative economically overall, it can be something very bullish for the Canadian economy, as it would mean more exportation of oil. Therefore, it would mean a higher demand from the Canadian economy, prices would raise, as well as the economy will start to perform even better, right? So exportation from Canada for provision of oil, right? Also, ADP employment numbers should be better than expected for Monday's first set of major news. Wednesday also expecting good CPI inflation numbers, which makes this trade, all the more reason that we could hold it all the way to the TP areas, right? And if we just look at the CPI numbers, just put it up here. Let me log in real quick. On Wednesday, let's just see if we could look at the CPI numbers for on Wednesday. Let's just do for this week. Scroll all the way down to Wednesday. As you can see, we did have good CPI numbers, right? Therefore, the Canadian dollar did, in fact, continue that overall bullish move that we were expecting, right? So if we look at the trade right here, as well as, the idea, we were looking for possible buys below this area if price actually fell through the support area, right? A possible buy would be, something that we could actually get into as well. And we saw a lower push down, right? Because at this point, this is where we're expecting buyers to, step in and continue moving price higher. We did have, some rejection from this area with the overall uptrend, the overall bullish sentiment being apparent in the market. However, if we did see a fall through this area, then with the same expectancy, we could possibly see buyers stepping in below at this support area as well, right? So at this point, we're not looking for sells. We have zero reason to take sells against the Canadian dollar. So we're looking for bullishness. We're looking for buyers moves to the upside, and that is where we could possibly see some entries, right? So this was just a little thankful thank you note to those in the VIP and into the free, just for being here with me and really interesting me to help grow accounts and all of that good stuff, right? So we did have some other few stuff here. Euro USD sells as well. Price was just consolidating right here, was looking for a move further down, right? Again, with Euro weakness and USD bullishness, was looking for that. And USD CHF sells as well, same sort of economic outlook, right? So we entered the buys right here as price tapped into that zone where we marked out, right? And now we were looking for continuation. Firstly, we reduced our risk, right? Just because there was a possibility that price could actually push lower, right? We entered with the full position at entry once we saw that price actually started respecting this area, right? So we got a rejection right off that area right here, and then we saw a bullish candle formation starting to form. We entered full positions and looked for a continuation move upwards. So as you can see, the Canadian dollar did start to perform and push away from that zone, and you can see these are time by time updates, which is why I'm not going to load up the chart right now. As you can see, everything happening here, right? So we saw that bullish formation as price continued pushing back up with clear, clean bullish candles, right? And was now looking for pass above these resistance wicks, right? So these are daily wicks right here that we were looking for a possible, some sort of rejection from that area. Price may run into some resistance, right? So, slight profits on Canadian CAD CHF here, looking for possible upside. However, I advise moving your stops to break even and allow the run to take current profits, and allow to take current profits if you want to, as this move is less of CAD bullishness and short-term CHF weakness, right? So there was some CHF weakness that we were experiencing at the point of time, which did give the move, a little bit more of a clearness in direction, right? And price continued doing so forth. If we just pull this out here, we could see that the Canadian dollar actually went all the way up. So we started from this level right here, right? This were the levels that we were looking to break. If we just go to the daily chart, we can see more clearly here, right? And these are the daily rejection zones that we were looking at, right? So price rejected here multiple times off of that daily zone, was looking for a push above and a continuation even higher, right? And that is what we did end up seeing happening, right? So price came here, we have this zone of support, right? And we were looking for that continuation move, which we did see, right? Price continue moving up here. We passed this resistance area, right? Price pulled back a little bit right here, but then we closed above. That gave us a signal that, all right, we're probably going to see more of a movement continue moving up, right? Which we did see happening. Price did come all the way back down here and some news, I believe, but then we closed back up on the next hour with a bullish engulfing candle, and we continued that move upwards. So we did hit our full TP here, which was really great for the CAD CHF trade that we did take. That's the first winner that we did have that just, you know, basically just set the tone for the rest of the week, right? If we're just looking through Euro USD, one of the trades that actually did send as well, that we end up closing a little bit at break even, I believe, right? Let me just come back to here. So the Euro USD, we had a sell with a 28 pip stop loss, right? So we entered here at the start of the week for a possible continuation to the downside on Euro weakness and USD bullishness, right? We did have some USD news as well, with the Fed talking, Fed Chair Powell coming to talk, as well as if we're just looking at the economic calendar, right? We had Fed Bullard speech, one of the more bullish representative of the US dollar, right? So we were expecting him to make some bullish statements, you know, basically reassuring that, all right, we have more of a bullish stance on increasing interest rates to help the economy overall, decrease inflation and such. And then we have, you know, some other Fed speech which actually came out on the Thursday, right? So Fed Chair Powell did speak on Thursday, as well as jobless claims, right? So we were expecting pretty good numbers, which we did end up seeing happening at that point of time, which did give the US dollar some sort of bullishness, but overall not that much as, you know, we would look to capitalize on. Okay, but yeah, just looking at it, we can see that. Let me just pull up the chart here and put them side by side so you can see more clearly. All right, so looking at it, we're looking over here at these levels, so we could see that clearly price did continue that movement downwards. We did actually have that continuation move to the downside for a little bit, but then, you know, we started heading up a little bit more here, right, back into this daily resistance area. If we just look to the daily time frame, right, so price did come back into this daily resistance area, so we did avoid taking an L there. All right, and then we entered another sell opportunity right here, coming closer to the actual news with Fed Chair Powell and all of that good stuff, that, you know, we were expecting a bullish stance, you know, to actually push price a little bit to the downside, which we did get overall. Right, we were pretty on point with the fundamentals and the sentiment overall, the market sentiment that we would have experienced at, you know, certain points of time. So we did capitalize very well on the sentiment itself. This was the Euro USD trade that we did take. I'll show you that a little bit lower. Right, let's just skip all of this. So yeah, CAD CHF 80 CAD sells actually played out. This was the Euro USD playing out, started to play out a little bit, right? The 80 CAD sell actually started moving the profit, reduced our risk, paid into, you know, break even, and looked for that continuation move even lower. Let me just show you that 80 CAD. Right, so the 80 CAD, the sells are somewhere around here, right? Price tapped into this zone, started, you know, pushing rejected a little bit, going up. We entered another sell right around here. I personally, entered a sell right around here as we saw that continuation move downwards. I took a sell somewhere right around here for price to continue moving down, and it actually ended up playing all the way out for 5% return But that's beside the point, right? AUD CAD went down as expected. We reduced our risk, running risk-free trades almost all the way through. Can take AUD CAD profits. RBA news in a few hours should affect the AUD tempo with some slight upside. CAD news could give us the move we want, but overall, let's wait and see what the market gives us, right? It's important to understand when you are a trader, there are points in time where you can fall under the influence of FOMO or overall risking too much per trade when you are on a winning streak. That is something that I myself control, and you have to find some control over that in terms of your emotions when you are trading and on a winning streak. I have not experienced a loss in quite some time, which isn't bad, right? Of course it isn't bad. Everybody likes to gain, everybody likes to win and make money. Every week has been profitable, insanely unprofitable for us actually in the VIP. But with that being said, we do have to be more cautious with our emotions when we're taking trades. Also, always remember to manage our risk wisely so that we won't fall back into bad habits that a lot of traders do find themselves in when they are, on a winning streak, taking back-to-back W's. Sometimes you could just throw risk management out of the window because now you want to, risk a lot, almost your whole account, margin positions on one trade because you're on a winning streak and you believe, okay, nothing could go bad, right? Because you had back-to-back wins, you're going to win this one, and you're finally going to turn that 1,000 account that you do have, that you've been growing, and it's reached like $2,000 or something. You're going to finally flip that into 50,000 in that one trade, that one NAS trade that you're taking, that one gold trade that you were looking at, that one AUD JPY trade you were looking at to enter, right? Everything fall in line, everything lined up perfectly. You had your multiple confluences, and it's just like all the other trades that you did take, and now you're entering with a full position, 100 lots, no stop loss, because it's not gonna go against you, so why even bother to use it? And boom, the market humbles you immediately, and that, trust me, is the worst feeling. I've been there, a lot of you probably been there, you can relate as well. It's painful, it's beyond painful, right? So yeah, it's good to manage risk wisely and always be mindful of, all right, even though I am on a winning streak, I have not lost in quite some time. Overall, the percentage return that we have done for the year thus far, I'm more than positive is over 200%. Yeah, for the month, for the year thus far already. And this is not me capping or anything like that. It's just total results, back-to-back results since the beginning of this TrendFX community Discord group, right? It's just been back-to-back wins. Only one losing week that we did have that we recovered the week after and made some more profits on, right? But yeah, just back-to-back wins. So trading psychology, winning isn't everything. Proper risk management is. Leave that as a note in your book. Plaster it, laminate it on a piece of paper, and plaster it in front of your trading setup. All right. Winning isn't everything. Trade management is. All right, guys. So yeah, just a little tip from me to you. So yeah, continuing on, as you can see here, this is where the CAD CHF, sorry, was into deep profits, right? We took a USD, AUD buy position, right? Managed the risk wisely. This was one that was taken in the free group, the original AUD USD trade. Let's just see if I could find that here. AUD USD, right? The AUD USD buy, I actually sent this in the free group. So yeah, we entered the buy somewhere right around here, looking for the reversal of price right around that time for the upside on the AUD. And as you can see, we did actually have that happening, right? We had multiple rejections from right here, looking as though price was starting to bottom out at that point. And we got that upside movement from the AUD, profited around 5% return, I think, on this, and price continued moving even higher, right? So we were able to add into positions for price to move all the way up. We did run into some zones, but as you can see here, the AUD USD price did actually continue moving upwards, right? So we did get that full target. So yeah, and you can see this is some profits right here on the AD USD. All right, so we enter the second position on the ADUSD right here in the VIP group. Price went up, and yeah, we were able to capitalize on that. Right. Looking on Euro NZD, I think this was the first L that we took on the short side. Right. Euro NZD. So you can see price did actually went down a little bit, and if we're looking here, this is on the 19th that we're looking at. All right, so we're currently looking at the 19th here on Euro USD. I mean Euro NZD. Sorry. All right. So we're currently looking at these levels right here. Price came here, and yeah, as you can see, price actually pulled up a little bit outside, and then actually continue moving downwards on that secondary entry point that you do see here, right? So this was our first L that we did take for the week thus far in Euro and in the VIP group. However, we continue pushing on. We were deep in profits, so we managed the risk wisely, didn't overextend, move our stop loss higher because we expected it to go down or anything like that. When you do take an L, you take an L. All right, and you need to be humble with that L that you do take and learn from the mistakes. What you could have done better. Maybe perhaps you could have waited for a sort of a rejection from this area as we saw that bullish green candle formed right against that red candle, because that usually gives you some indication that price is probably going to turn the opposite direction than your initial prediction where price action may move. That is something that happens a lot of times. Or when you see price wicks down, but then it starts wicking back up, comes to close to the opening, the close comes close to the opening, and then it starts moving in the opposite direction, right? That in itself is also a signal that price is probably going to continue higher, and you're probably going to get stopped out of your position, right? So you need to be aware of when it is time to either call it quits, switch your bias, or what. There's no point in being arrogant in your bias because market conditions do change all the time. Therefore, we need to be flexible and able to change with them, right? So something that I personally don't do is I do not take arrogance into my trading. When I'm sure about something, I'm sure about it. However, when new data presents itself, if there's a need for me to change my bias, especially given what I'm seeing on on the charts and price action as well as the fundamental data, then I know that I need to actually change my bias. And this is something that could happen back and forth throughout the week, if throughout months on months, on sometimes throughout the hour, right? That is something that does happen when you do have new data release. It affects price action, and it could also affect the trade that you are in. So there's no reason in being stubborn in your bias that you've built, right? Because again, new information is always coming out when it comes to dealing with forex trading. We are dealing with economies. These economies are ever changing, they're ever growing, and they're ever fluctuating in their policies, new releases, and things that happen on the spur and stuff like that that do affect price action, right? Clearly, if something if something big happens, such as, okay, we see the US enters a war with Russia, helping Ukraine out or whatever, right? But we have interest rates being risen higher or whatever. We're not gonna go with the bias in the market that, all right, the interest rates is going to help push the US dollar up. No, we're going to possibly sell because, again, Russia has now started a war with the US, which is going to inevitably push the US dollar down, right? You may see other commodities rise, such as gold, and you'll see the stock market and stuff fall as well, right? But investors will flee to gold. You may see the Japanese yen and CHF actually increase in value against the US dollar, right? So we need to be aware of the information that we do have surrounding us when we're building our biases, and not be foolhardy and our thinking when it comes to, all right, I set it up, everything looks good, there's no reason this should twist and turn against me, right? So that's why I really like looking at fundamentals when it comes to my trading, because it really helps build the overall analysis of where to expect the move to go. So yeah, this was the AD CAD sell, and there was 16 pip stop loss, expecting some CAD reaffirming for a possible sell lower, right? This was the AD CAD sell. Just look at it over here. Again, we just did way too much. We absolutely murdered the markets. I have no words, right? So this was actually the 19th, right? So if we just take a look at this, right, and I did this off of my phone. I was not within the I was nowhere near my desktop, so I had to do this off of my phone. So let's just look at these levels. I'm just gonna input it in and just input the levels right here, right? Because I can't really see it off this screen. So yeah, we're looking at the entry price. The entry price is at 92986. Our stop loss level is at 93144. Sorry. And our take profit level is 92313. All right. So this was the trade right here for the AD CAD. All right. So this ended up resulting in an L. Price went even higher, came all the way up here, right around this area for the entry, right? So yeah, this was the entry area, my guy, my bad. All right, so this was the entry area for the AD CAD that we did take. It ended up resulting in an L. Again, as we saw, price was actually pushing lower right here, and the close of this candle was expecting this resistance to hold and for possible move downwards to continue, right? But we did see some sort of support some sort of bullishness, coming into. So right, so got stopped out here as well. I'm still biased to the downside, waiting for price action to align with that, if possible. Same thing on the AD CAD market is walking all over. I'm still much more interested in CAD longs for now until we see anything else more attractive, right? So the Euro CAD, this stopped out, right? And the AD CAD stopped out as well, right? So the Euro CAD, we entered another sell. Looking for a continuation move to the downside as we look for a break lower. However, below the support would be, would help in confirming a further move downwards, risking 1% here as I've managed, as I've entered, manage your risk wisely, right? And I always say manage your risk wisely because, some people, they think just because you're winning, they should just throw risk management out the window and just enter trades or, willy-nilly however they want, which is going to send you downhill pretty fast, right? So this was on the 19th as well. Let's looking at these levels. All right, let's see if we can put those real quick. So we're looking at the sell here. All right, so as price pushed higher right around here, I believe the 19th, we got that sell. Stretch this out, and let's just input those levels, so we can see everything a little bit more clearly. 6186. Our take profit level is at 35405, and the stop loss level is at 36323. This was the other trade. All right, so price came, closed in, right? We ended up starting to go into profit a little bit. As you can see, price came up right here, wicked, and then you've continued even lower, right? So this was a trade for 5 to 7, right? So that initially is what happened. Euro NZD sell as well. So we entered this as well, a possible sell to the downside. This actually ended up playing pretty nicely, right? So yeah, price was just working up and down on the Euro CAD, right? So at that point, we were looking to reduce our risk overall just because price was playing right around our entry level, right? So at that point, we're looking to now manage the risk and, you know, minimize any stops, any losses that we would have incurred, right? Even though we were up pretty decently, we still want to, you know, be wise in our risk management all the time. So that is something that we did, reduce our risk as price was just playing into the area right there. And as you can see, price actually, you know, went all the way down, but not before coming, you know, to the stop loss area and heading further down, right? If we did extend our stops, you know, higher, then I guess, you know, it would have been a nice 1 to 3 trade or whatever. But here we like to maximize our gains as best as possible. Sometimes that may include having a tighter stop than usual, right? So Euro NZD, we had a sell, stop loss 21 pips. Same analysis as previously, manage risk wisely. And as you can see, price actually started moving downwards again with that. And the Euro NZD sell was pretty nice, right? So looking at that, Euro NZD was somewhere right around here, I believe, right? And price just fully dipped, right? Somewhere right around here, and price just fully dipped down. We were able to come out with a nice, decent profit, right? So you can see right around 20th right there, price actually went all the way down, right? Price actually went all the way down right into that profit level, as you can see right here, right? And then started to head out and up, right? So but we were able to come out in profit right there with, you know, the overall move coming out at 3% on the Euro NZD, right? EuroCAD break even as we continue moving on. We had the AUD USD buys. This played out perfectly nicely as well. AUD CAD buy continuation. We were able to capitalize on that as well, and, you know, so forth, so forth, so forth. Can close AUD CAD at break even just to be more conservative with your risk. Price continue on, and, you know, we just kept on doing that. This was one of the sells that we did take on EJ that had me very salty. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, right? EJ, right? EJ overall was looking for a little bearishness on the overall sentiment of the euro dollar, right? Especially after the RBA statement minute meetings that we did get, right? We did see talks about the overall economy still being sort of kind of bleaky, right? With the overall expectations of higher energy cost and food prices to rise again, as well as new waves of COVID-19 affecting China once again, you know, causing supply chain disruptions with everything going on. So we do have a lot of negative impacts happening that just affecting the overall global economy, and that really would affect the the European Union the most, as they are the more reliant of these resources, right? So we were expecting a sort of a drop in the euro dollar overall, which we did eventually see. However, not at the point where we wanted it to, right? So that was, you know, something that kind of it was there, but at the same time not there, right? AUD JPY sells as well, something that we did take. We closed out of the AUD USD into profit here again, right? As price continued moving on, we did do decently on that, as you can see here on AUD USD, right? I didn't clear these out, right? Price moved up, we were able to come out into profit, right? Put our break-even stops, and as you can see, starting on the day from yesterday, price started fell through, just tanking all the way down. Like, watch this move, guys. Watch this daily candle. Price just tanked. That's simply yeah, good times to capitalize. We could have capitalized on that, but overall we were not in the business of risking it too much, right? Yeah, continuing on, you know, stop loss same amount, just took a re-entry on the AUD JPY, looking for a further push downwards. Euro JPY sell, stop loss, you know, same thing, just putting our stops and whatnot. Use a small risk percentage as price moves into profit. We can gradually add on, not looking to give up the gains, right? Looks like price just ain't ready for us tonight. Calling it here, tomorrow is another day thus far, right? So we continue moving on. We continue pushing onwards in the VIP group. Get a couple L's, right? But from the L's, we were able to learn from our mistakes, right? So we didn't have much time here. This was when I implemented my 3% risk rule, one of my scalability plan strategy that I do have for myself. If I do incur any losses at the beginning of a week, usually we try to do like 0.5% risk at the beginning of the week, because I do like to take early entry trades either on Sunday evening when markets do open, leading into the Monday morning New York session open and stuff like that. All right. But yes, this is one of my scalability plans that I do use and implement for myself if I do ever run into a situation like that. All right. So in the next couple of trades, I'm using a 3% risk overall remaining. All right. If we hit negative 3% on any of these couple of trades, that's it for the week, guys. Not to be hasty, right? So ADJPY sells was looking to enter. Things started looking better as we did come and we saw that price. Let's just pull that up. So overall, what we saw on the ADJPY, right? So we saw that from here, if we're looking at the daily, we have this daily rejection zone, right? Not just one, but twice, right? So price rejected right here on the daily, right? As well as this next candle form started to push downwards a little bit, right? So we now formed a new daily level, right? So that was one of the reasons why, okay, at this point we could possibly see a further move downwards. Now, if we're just looking again, we did have the overall bearish sentiment for the AD still in play, as well as some Japanese strength that could have come into play, as well as we had talked about the economy and their lack of raising interest rates, right? Which is a sort of the best move that could be done for the Japanese yen, as the Japanese economy does rely on the US and other economies, for a majority of their economic growth. Therefore, there's sort of a balancing act that needs to be done in order to, overall keep the economy afloat, right? So raising interest rates isn't something that's in their best interest at this point of time, even though it's something that we'll likely see in the future to combat certain situations that they are running into when it comes to inflation and the overall increased inflation that we are seeing in the global economy, right? But with that being said, we're looking for some Japanese strength to actually play in AUD weakness. So as you can see, the currency sentiment actually shifted once again from this bullish move to this bearish move, right? And that is something, again, we need to be aware of the possibilities of when we could see this happening, right? So price started to rejecting. We could see here on the 4-hour, we started rejecting from the zone as well. Looking at the 1-hour, we kind of consolidated right here. We had this support area, and a possible entry would have been when we saw price fall through that area. And I actually said this in the VIP group as well. When price falls through that area and closes bearish, then we have a very strong indication for a continuation even lower again, right? So that is something that we were looking for. Yeah, so entering with a 1% risk. As price comes, we can now expect the bearish momentum to hit as we start seeing a breakout of sorts from this consolidation, right? And that was the plan of which we were looking to see, right? So the breakout to actually happen, and as you can see, it actually started happening, right? From right there, price started going down, but I did not hold this trade, however, because again, I don't like the, if price isn't going to move immediately, then I don't want to be in it, right? USD CAD buy. This was also a scalability plan on the USD CAD buys. So we had the ADJPY that worked out the USD CAD buys, scalability using a 0.5% risk first, and then we had 1% risk setups right here above these resistance zones if we do see that change in direction / momentum, right? So, all right, if this current 1 hour candle doesn't manage to close or break the support, slash rejection area, I'll exit the trade at break even, right? And that's what we're looking for, a break below that area right here, because at this point we could expect to see some momentum to push price to downside. But that didn't end up happening, and I actually had to break even at that point. Yeah, scalability plan on the US dollar, right? See here, close at break even. Euro USD, we entered a sell right here. Also added a scalability plan again with a secondary entry as price breaks to the downside right here, showing for an indication of a rejection from this overall daily zone, right? So that is what we were looking at for the Euro USD sells that we did take, right? Well, that I took, that's what I was looking at, right? So if we look in here at the daily level, what we could see, multiple daily rejections. Again, looking at USD strength coming into the day, as we did have, the Fed speech expectations and whatnot, pretty much bullishness for the US dollar. As you can see, the fundamentals help play with the technicals, and price continued pushing down. We got that breakout, entered, price continued moving down. All right, we did get hit at the break even right here because we were very aggressive with moving our stops into profit, and at that point we re-entered this secondary pair, and you see price just played all the way down. So this was a 5% return, and this was a 3.5, around 2.5, because this was a little higher up percent return. So that would have made this overall about 8% return in total. That just was pretty insane by itself. As well as the USD CAD, if we actually take a look here, again with the scalability plan that we did implement in place, what we were looking at, right, price came into right here, this daily rejection zone, right? So this was a zone of worth noting, right? We had multiple rejection right here. We did have times price pulled lower, but again, with the fundamentals, we had the expectancy that right here, we could have possibly start seeing some sort of support formation and a price rejection, which is exactly what we saw happening right here. Price actually came down, failed to continue a move downwards, right? We pushed up, therefore forming a wick, a daily wick, sorry, at this rejection zone, and price started to move a little bit higher. So at this point, we entered our 0.5% risk. Price started moving up, right? Right here, we had to re-enter as price, hit our break even. Then we started forming higher right here. At this point, started to break above this resistance, entered our secondary buy position right here. Price started to go up again, broke that next resistance level, entered again, and price continued moving upwards, right? So as you can see, price even pushed way more higher than expected. I did remove my TP, but however, not to get too greedy into the markets, we took what we got at our original take profit areas, right? So this was around 6%, 5%, and 6% as well, which total into around 0.5% risk here, which was in like 3%, and 6 and 5, 11 and 4, yeah, around 15% return. That is what we did here on this trade. So you can see we minimized the amount of losses we did incur, as well as maximize the overall gains that we could have gotten. So we really did do pretty insane on the overall for the overall week, right? It was just insane. As you can see, these are just updates as price continued moving on. Updates, price just started smacking through and continued pushing up. Just wow, it was insane, right? The ADJPY price even started moving down, right? Just completely insane. CAD JPY sells. This was the end of the week. We did enter this as well, left this overnight. I did have a detailed breakdown as to why I took this CAD CHF sell as well. Let's put CAD CHF. Right, so yeah, CAD CHF sells. Whoop, entered right around here. Price came up. It quickly broke to the downside. I was asleep. It got activated, and price kept on heading even lower. Broke, and got our first TP, and came all the way down near here for a second TP where we closed off in the profit as well. So yeah, that's just me basically mansplaining just how profitable the VIP is. It's just it's like a lot, right? And yeah, every time we do end the week, I like to ask people, how much percent return that you did do. All right, two people here, they joined recently, just got between 1 to 5%. Win is a win, profit is profit, right? So they were able to, get some gains on that as well, which is, all I'm thankful for. Right, guys. So yeah, that's it for what we got in the VIP, what's been happening. Right. So we did get extreme wins, extreme wins, right? Percentage returns that you'd expect in like 2 months would in just 1 week. And this is from a place of arrogance or self-import or anything like that. It's just what we do, and we do it on a consistent weekly basis, just back-to-back wins, just back-to-back profits, just yielding a lot. So yeah, is VIP worth it or not? You have to decide that for yourself. I could only tell you the truth about what we do and what we take, and I keep it real. I keep it 100 with everyone in the group. That being said, you could purchase the VIP and see it for yourself, whether whether it's worth taking or not. But yeah, that's it for this weekly recap of the trades that we did take. I don't like mansplaining or anything like that. I'm not gonna show you a lifestyle with expensive cars, expensive vacationing or anything like that. What TrendFX is for and what it's about, what we stand for here in the TrendFX community group, is about trading and trading alone. Right, lifestyle, yes, it's nice, it's great to be able to afford the expensive stuff, the expensive trip, wear the brands and whatnot, but that isn't how I think personally when it comes to trading. I'm not trading just to make it rich and just live my best life. I'm trading personally to put things in place for my future generations to come, and just overall live a comfortable life, right, without working or slaving away at 9 to 5 at a job where they can immediately replace me. And I think that's where a lot of us feel, why we feel trading is because we approach it with the wrong mindset, the wrong sort of mentality when it comes to what it is we're trading and what it is we're looking to gain from it. Because as trading is something that's very hard. It is not simple by any means. While it is relatively about probabilities and statistics and all of that, trading is by no way simple. It's not gambling, it's a science and it's a skill, it's an art, right? So you need to put time and effort into this if you're really looking to go and get it. And if you are looking just for signal sources or someone you could trust in terms of taking their trades and you'll be profitable overall, then you need to know whether that person is trustworthy, whether their trading is actually good or not, right? That's just something I like to tell and leave depart in a note to you guys if you do decide to go down that route. All right, guys, but that's it for this video. It was pretty quick. Shout out to everyone in the VIP, everyone in the free as well, everyone in the Discord community group. If you're not here, you need to join. The link will be in the description and the first comment of the comment section of this video. So yeah, come and see what it's about. Join the community. Let's grow this to 300. Our first goal is 300 before the first half of the year, right? So before June, we want to reach 300 community persons in the group itself, community members. So yeah, let's try to get that, right? And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope everyone had a great trading week. If not, go and revise your charts, come back to another week fresh and renewed, and that's it. Peace. Like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment. Bye.